Hi guys, this is Cobra Tom,
And Venom Lily.
and we are here to do the review of Destro and his Despoiler. And we have the blueprints, so that's kind of something new. We don't normally have those kinds of things.
So
She's gonna kind of point things out, and I'm gonna read them off the best that I can from the sheet, so that she kind of, because I can't do both. I can't hold and read, so she's gonna do the best. I'm gonna do she could show you real quick some of the bullet points here, where you place stickers, and some of the other things here. And then here's how you put it together. Although when we bought it, we bought everything together, so I didn't have to do any of this. But you basically got the main body, the guns, the engines, how you put them in, the missiles, stuff like that, the fins.
we've got the exhaust nozzle things. The upper body, lower body parts. The gun ring, which I think holds all the guns, which is on. Can you take Destro out?
Yes. Oh.
Sorry.
Maybe.
And then see, it's the guns. The guns hold right there. That's the gun ring. And then you place the guns onto it, right? Like you have this piece, and then you put it on right into this little cubby kind of thing. I don't know what to call it. And then you take the left stabilizer, which I think is right. I'm not sure. But you take the left stabilizer and you place it down, and the right stabilizer. Then you put the missile into the hole and the gun into the missiles. I'm not sure. Into the holder right here, to this holder. And then you put the missiles into these little holes. And that's all it says as instructions on the thing.
Okay, now hold it up so that they can see a little closer, and I will do. Okay, now number 1 is the bottom part. Show the bottom part. And that is the Deluge 1 Destro QB4 dual mini missiles. And that's right there. Okay, number 2 is the rapid fire burst 20mm repeating cannons. Those are the cannons on the front. Now, I think you gotta show it kind of from the top. The top. And number 3 is the hardened steel deflector protection cockpit. So that's like this part here. Number 4 is the variable incidence adjusting carbine reinforced wings. So you obviously know what wings are. These are the wings. Number 5 is the dust-proof air induction filtration system. And that you have to turn over. And that's like, I believe that's what this. Let's see, they're kind of showing this part in the instructions. That's number 5. So, okay, number 6 is the adjusting geometry precision ground cannon rotary device. Turn it over so that you can show that the guns pivot and go around. See, they go up and down, and they spin on the pivot. So like this. So that's really cool. That's a cool effect you didn't get too often. Want to hold this again, please? Okay, the number 8, Destro size Despoiler option command. Operations command seat. So flip it over so that they can see so that it's tough to see, but you can see the command seat there. Here's the seat that he sits on. There's the controls. So he commands the ship from here, or airplane. I know my lighting isn't great, so it's going to be kind of tough to see. Multi-adjust top-mounted stabilizers. That's what these are. VTOL, vertical takeoff and landing directional thruster rotors. That's what these are. It would take off from here. DESVH turbo fan air conducting engine. Which is this part here. This cools this all down. And it cools the whole engine system, otherwise it can overheat. Cold box high temperature rain thrust diverter mechanism, which is like here, according to the blueprints. And then number 13 is the horizontal rear position thruster rotors, which are right here. That's what those are. This is what takes it off. This is what makes it go forwards and stuff. So that's pretty much the Despoiler. You can see it's got some control sticks here. It's got a really neat Destro symbol here. It's got some really nice details on the top and on the bottom. So you can see on the bottom here, here's the Destro heads. Here's like the exhaust and the cooling system and everything that I was kind of talking about in the gun. Now, here comes the one tiny problem I have with this vehicle. Want to hold this for a split second there, please? Now, you would think when I showed you the cockpit that he's going to fit in there really easily. But to be honest, I bend his legs, and this is the best I can get him in. He's in, but as you saw before, he's really loose. He doesn't. I mean, he stayed better this time. I normally can't get him to even stay that well. But as you're flying around, you have two other little problems. I, as always, would never. I put it on top of, but never put it into the figure's hands. And if you want Destro holding his sword, which is cool, well, then you've got a control stick that doesn't have hands on the controls. And I'm afraid that if you take the sword away from the figure, you may lose it, and I wouldn't want anybody losing their sword. So that's, I don't know. That's completely up to you, although I would never. And now getting him out, just to get him out, is like a pain in the rear end. So now on to Destro himself. I'll put him.
No, he almost has like a pirate gun or sword.
Yeah. And he's got a chrome vacuumed head, and that's been in gold plastic there. He's got this ridged spikes, which I don't really think he needs. He's got a continuation, which is a really nice feature. I really do like this feature. that you could see that the cape is tucked into the front of his thing and it would run all the way to the inside of his uniform. I think that that's a really kind of cool continuity that they thought of, that would go into the front and it'd run into the back. He's got this thing on the front here that I'm not exactly sure what it goes to. I'm not even sure what it really is. It just seems just like a detail of some sort. I don't really know. And he's got like these campaign ribbons, which I really like. I assume those are campaign ribbons. I'm not really sure. I like that they give him... Well, if you can do it better than I could, you could take off his sword, and you're supposed to put this chain, what looks like a chain from his sword, onto his belt. I would be very careful putting that on there and off of there. I put it on extremely loose. I don't try to like get it. See, if you don't do it right, it kind of like falls off. But I'd prefer it falling off and not looking very good than to either crack the peg on his leg or crack the chain of the sword, because gold plastic back in the day got brittle really easily, and a lot of swords have this piece broken off. But if you want, you can put it like that. And as you can see on his hip, the chain kind of goes from here to here, so it kind of looks like when you've got it on him, it looks like a continuation there, which I really like. And now comes the weird part that it's very difficult to see, and I wish it was picked out better, because you could see on the side here he's got a gun, which looks really nice, but then you have this boot part, which I know people think, maybe not as much anymore, because people have talked about this, but this isn't the boot. I know people think that that's boots, but the boot only goes up to this point here, and then the other one is rolled down because of the gun. But then when you're standing here looking at it, it looks, I know to some people it looks funny if you're just holding the figure and part of his boot's down. And I know that people think that that's the top of the boot, but it's not. It's like thigh protector. And the top of the boot actually only goes this high. So if it was rolled up, it would match this part. It's too bad that the top of the boot wasn't red like his sash, giving it a little color contrast. And then you'd understand that this top part with the studs isn't the boot. It's a part of his costume. But that's the way that is. Do you want to get 68? G.I. Joe number 68. You know what? You talk about him for a minute. I'm going to go get number 68 quick.
I don't know if you mentioned this, but it's almost like he has, or it's almost like Destro has a little scarf kind of right here. It's like a different color. There's so much detail on him. It's like he has some chains around him, and like my dad was talking about, yeah, that's not his boots. That's like a thigh protector, and he's got a gun right here. It's a gun pouch, and then you see the gun right there, which I don't ever think he ever actually used.
Oh, go up. They can't see it.
And yeah, he never really used the gun, so I don't think.
No. And here's the basic trooper. So you see what I mean by the knees having, the boots having kind of this like knee pad on the sides. The boots have kind of a reddish pattern on the inside. It would have been nice to have that same kind of thing for the figure to kind of distinguish between the two boots. And look how much taller the Destro is than the Iron Grenadier. I mean, he's taller. And they looked about the same, but he's taller because of the fin on his head. Otherwise, I'm going to zoom in so you can see that. He's about the same height, but because the other guy has a fin on his helmet, he isn't nearly as tall. Now, here's something I wanted to quick talk about. Is issue number 68. And this is the very first appearance of the Iron Grenadier soldier and Destro. And it is on the back page that Sergeant Major shows off the new Iron Grenadier soldier look and Destro putting on his new outfit. And here, when it's on the page, it definitely looks a little bit better because you can see that the boot is being rolled down and the gold stud is a part of the outfit and the uniform and not just the molding process that they used. So it's a little bit different, but it still looks really cool, and I still really love this figure. Give me a figure that's all black and you've already got a really good start on a figure. And I love his companion soldier, his normal grade soldier. They just look really cool and they look so great together. I know this video ran a little bit long. It's almost been about 18 minutes, but I really wanted to do a good job on this figure. He's one of my favorites. And his vehicle, and we have the blueprints. So I think it's a really cool combination. It's a really cool figure. It's kind of a deluxe figure because they didn't really need to give Destro a vehicle, but it looks really cool. And even alongside a normal soldier, it looks really cool. So thank you for watching this video. This one is one of my favorites, as I said. So we will see you
next time.
next time.
Bye.
Bye.